everybody. Welcome to Busy Living So Bomb. Busy Living So Bomb. Busy Living So Bomb. Episode 176. What up, Buttercup?
What up with you? 176?
I think we're on 176.
Wow.
In fact, I know we are. It's episode 176. I'm here today with my hubby, everybody. And let's face it, he loves to come on.
Just love to help you out. I love to help my wife out.
You do love to help me out. And
I'm your guest. I like to think of myself as your guest of last resort.
You kind of are. Weezy was supposed to come on today, but she had some stuff going on because of all what's going on in the world, so she couldn't come on. But she will hopefully be on next week.
Gotcha.
And
that'll be exciting.
And then I'll let you off. And then I think I have a lot of guests that want to come on, and I might have to start doing my Tuesday with actual guests, like people I don't know, which is fun, but it's, it's all good.
Yeah.
So my topic today is the fact is I'm just going to come clean. I really am over people.
Finally got to that point, huh?
It's taken 4 months of COVID. I love hanging out with my husband, but my disease or whatever it is, or humanism, has gotten me to be sick of people in general. And so what do you do when you're sick of people? The nice thing is I don't feel like drinking. I have no interest in drinking any cocktails or partaking in any extracurricular, I can't even say that word, extracurricular activities.
There it is. Way to say it.
So I don't want to take on any extracurricular activities, but at the same time, it's like, I think that living in recovery, it's an interesting thing because I think there's some people that live in that this is their whole life. And I think people might assume because of what I do that I live in this life, but I don't. This is just part of my life.
I see. So I think what you want to talk about sounds like balance.
Balance.
Right. Sounds like you're a little out of balance if you're not liking people.
I'm out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
I am out of balance. And I am.
Well, it's easy to be out of balance because we've been, life has been strange since COVID and quarantine and all that. And I think that probably a lot of us are feeling out of balance.
It totally feels like weird. I don't feel like zen. I don't feel.
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, part of it is like I want to go out and do things, but then I don't. Or I want to go out and do things, but I don't want anybody like close to me. Or I want to get out and do things, but I don't want to be around people that aren't wearing masks. So it's hard that way. It's difficult. And that's just fear. I mean, that's all fear-based. Nobody wants to get COVID. And it doesn't seem like, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. It just doesn't seem like something that anybody wants to catch. Or even it doesn't seem like something that anybody wants to bring home and maybe give to somebody else in the house. And that's probably where a lot of people, including myself, come from. So it's hard, we're pretty social people and we have not been, very social lately.
And it's ironic that the only person I want to hang out with is you, and you're the only person. And
I may not be much, but I'm all you got, right?
That's all I got. And I have to tell you, so I stepped away for a second for those of you that are watching this on actual video on our YouTube channel on Busy Living Sober. I got up because I had to go like, here's one mask that I wear. And then here's another one that I wear. And I have more. But it's interesting because when you just talked about the fear thing, so you go out to a restaurant, at least for me, we showed up at a restaurant. We did go to a restaurant and it wasn't yesterday. It was this weekend. We went to an outdoor restaurant You had to go inside to order the food, but you sat outside. Everybody sat outside. And we're walking in, and it's not it was just a regular, like, a local place. And we go there, and a family is in front of us. They walk in, and it's two people and their children. And none of them were wearing masks. And so rather than, and I think you could attest to this, because rather than me going, excuse me, you're not wearing a mask, you need to be wearing a mask, that's totally not cool, you're not wearing a mask, that's totally not cool, I go passive aggressive. And I look to JF and I say, can you believe that family is out here without a mask on? But how are you supposed to handle it?
Well, we don't know about the whole mask thing yet because we haven't been living with it for very long. But, in most situations, the way they handle things is if you say you talk directly to the person, right? So at least the one thing in this situation is it is possible to say, excuse me, but you're not wearing a mask and you're supposed to wear a mask. It even says so on that sign right next to you. And you not wearing a mask is making me uncomfortable. Something like that. And address the people. But this will be interesting to see how it plays out. I think that, for me, people seem to there's a lot of strong feelings about it. And there's there seems to be a lot of, a lot of people are not happy about it, one side or the other. And I don't really feel personally like just getting into a political, socioeconomic discussion with somebody about the mask thing. So I wear mine. If I forget it, I go back to my car and get it. And if I'm someplace where somebody's not wearing a mask, I just do my best to stay away from them. And you know what? If it's going to be a situation where I'm not going to be comfortable being around those people, then I think I just need to leave and go someplace else.
But it brings back the whole thing of being balanced. So, being balanced, it's like, because I used to go, you used to get up, you might go for a walk somewhere, you might go to the gym if you're a gym person, and you'll go and you'll do your thing, and you'll spend time you'll spend time doing whatever you do in the day that you need to do, right? And then you would run with friends, go out to lunch, do that. All of it feels weird. Hence, you're stuck in the house. All the political stuff is like overwhelming. I'm like over it completely. It seems like people are angry just to be angry. People are like, I see people on Facebook and certain social media places, and I'm just appalled. And I'm off of it now. Because every time I watch it, it just gets me angry. And I'm like, why do I want to get angry? So hence I don't like people at all. It's like, so I don't like people. So I'm like, how do I make sure that, and I don't even really want to go to Zoom things anymore. I used to, was going to a lot of them. I was hosting them 12-step Zoom meetings, and I'm kind of over that as well, because I really just don't even care right now. It's weird. It's a weird time, and we're at the end of this, and now these numbers are ramping up, and the world says you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. All I want to do is stay happy, peaceful, and calm. And how do you stay happy, peaceful, and calm when you live in a society that is literally in mayhem?
Great question. I guess we'll find out, won't we? I don't know that anybody has the answer to that. I was struck by the one line that you said was, it feels weird. And you have talked many, 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 numerous times over the course of all your podcasts about feelings and and about the fact that you didn't like feelings, and that's one of the reasons why you drank so much, was so you didn't have any. So now So I'm curious, now you're having feelings that are uncomfortable, I suppose, if that's a good word. And you need to figure out how you're going to handle that.
Yeah, I have feelings that are just, and I guess the feelings of uncomfortableness come from the fact that I'm like, I feel like I used to get tired more. Okay. Cause I'd be physically, not only would I be physically do my workout thing, but I'd be on the run all the time. I'm always on the run. I'm from here to there. And like every human being was, right? Every human being out there. I mean, no wonder people were on planes all the time. They were in restaurants all the time. They were in, I mean, everybody, the whole country, the whole world, like was doing that, right? Like people were from here to there, to this, to this, to this, to this, to this.
Mm-hmm.
I I was busier. I was busier, and then that kept me busy, and then I didn't have to. And maybe that's the reality is that I'm normally that I don't normally sit around. I'm not a sit arounder. I'm not someone that waits or does anything. But right now, because of the balance, it doesn't feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And I brought that word up because I had a guy one time tell me when I was going through some stuff that, he said that, JF, you need to learn how to be comfortable in your own discomfort. And he said, discomfort is change. That's what's going on. And you just need to learn how to be comfortable with that. And what he was really telling me, for me anyway, was that I need to just sit in it and sit through it and get to the other side. And a lot of that involves acceptance when I'm going through something like that. So I guess my point is we're going to get through this, and it's going to be uncomfortable for a while, but we've been through lots of things in our lives that have been uncomfortable. Lots of things in life, like, I wish I didn't have to do this, whatever it is. And you did it and you got through it. And you learn how to adapt to whatever the new situation was. So we're doing the same thing here. It's a process, and we're just in it. Now, somebody told me a while back, maybe, I don't know, I must have been playing golf a few weeks ago with somebody, and they described to them, they felt like their journey through, quote, COVID and quarantine was like the Kubler-Ross stages of the 7 stages of death that you go through or whatever. There's, anger, sadness, blah, 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 blah. And finally it gets to acceptance and you're able to move on. And so this person said, that's how I'm looking at this thing, because I'm having all these emotions about it, fear and this, that, and the other thing. And, but I'm looking at it's kind of like a death. I don't know if it's the death of my old life. I don't know what it is. He couldn't quantify that, but that was what he used as sort of his guide to work his way through the whole thing. So, he said, so based on that, some days are great and some days are not. And that's the way it is. But eventually I'll get to the other side of this, whatever it's going to look like. And I'll be okay. And I kind of like that too.
Yeah, it's and I like that too, because I would say that like the emotions you brought up, that the fear, you're fearful that you're going to get this, and then you're like, well, if I get it, what is it really going to look like? Am I going to be one of the ones that if I do get it, it's going to be really, really, really bad, or am I going to be one of the ones that's going to get it and it's not even, I'm not even going to know I have it? You have that going on, and then you have I'm never going to get life back like it used to be. I'm never going to be able to have those feelings. Like, for instance, last night we had dinner with some dear, dear, dear friends, and they're leaving town tomorrow. We won't see them for a while, and we couldn't give them a hug. It was like you just wanted to go and give them a hug, and you're like, I've been sitting across the table from you, but we still can't hug, and you had to go like with your elbow thing, and it felt uncomfortable. It felt like, something that because I am touchy feely. I'm one of those people who looks to go and hug people and just touch them. And when I talk with my hands, and I go and I'll be like, and I'll pat somebody, or I'll pat somebody over here. And today, if I did that, it would be like, oh my gosh, don't touch me. You could have COVID. And then, so I have that fear that fear is constantly like a silent thing that's in life. And maybe it's a silent thing for everyone, it's a silent thing for everyone. And I think that um, a lot of people are in a place of like, I mean, I know we're in Florida right now. So those that are listening, we are in Florida. And I know because I talked to a dear friend today who's up at home in Philadelphia. And she said, oh my gosh, in Florida, you would think that they don't even care that it's COVID. They don't even think it's real. They don't even think it's real. And nobody's wearing masks. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true, because again, I stay in the house. I stay in the house most of the time. I do outdoor stuff because I'm outside, but like, I'm not going to go in the mall. I'm definitely not going to the mall. And then you have, at least for me, I sit here and I think, God, what's going to happen, financially to a lot of people? It's going to change a lot of people's lives, this whole thing. And then that makes them angry there. And then again, it's like, I could go on and on ad nauseum, but learning the balance. So what am I control? What am I in control over? Really, really, I'm powerless over everything. And we all are. I don't care if you're an alcoholic, if you're not an alcoholic, everybody's powerless. We all think we can make things happen, but people can make things happen for a second, but they can't make the feelings happen inside of them that they're going to, let's say we set up this whole thing and we have this beautiful party and it's still, everything on the outside looks great, but on the inside, you're not feeling good. So we're powerless over everything, right? Does that make any sense, what I just said?
Yes.
Okay. I always think, and I don't know why this popped in my head, but because we're just, what are we doing? What am I doing? What is it called when I'm doing?
I don't know. Are you spitballing?
Spitballing. That's when you think. But it's so interesting because like you think of a feeling like going back to the social media, I can't look at social media right now because it definitely angsts me up. And I know that a lot of pictures, like you see people that are like, they don't care that the COVID's going on and they're on the beach and they're all right next to each other. There's no social distancing. There's none of it. And you just sit there and you're like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And these same people are going, it's just crazy. Anyway, but they take a picture and you're like, what are all those people really feeling that are sitting there? We have no idea. I have no idea. I'm powerless over that. I have no idea how the people really feel in that quarter of a second that picture was taken. It might even been, less than that of the time that the picture was taken, and how is the person feeling? Right?
Correct.
I'm powerless over it.
So what do you have power over?
Me.
That's it.
Me. So I think that sometimes during timeout land, you need to take a timeout. So I went and I actually did an awesome podcast this morning that will air on Thursday. I am doing what I'm supposed to do. I might quiet the noise around me, like in terms, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I might just take a time out. What do you think?
Well, I was thinking about something while you're talking, and one of the things that I've heard many times is, that question: are you living in the problem, or are you living in the solution? Mm-hmm. And what that means to me is that I have to, if I'm not comfortable, if I'm not happy, if I'm fearful, if I'm any of those things, I must be living in the problem. And for me to say, well, the problem is coronavirus, doesn't help me out any, because I have no solution for coronavirus at all, But if I can say the problem is the way I feel about it, the problem is me, right?
Yeah.
The problem is always me. If I can do that, it really gives me some power, because if I say the problem is me, then I can do something about it. When I say the problem is this person or this disease or this television station or whatever, I'm just giving all my power away. And I can't do, like you said, I can't do anything about any of those things, but I can do something about me. So, so I need to take a look at myself and say, what am I going to do for me to live in the solution? What does it take for me to get in the solution and out of the problem if the problem is me? And that's a really good reflection for me, because it gives me some I'll get positive direction to go from out of that for sure. So maybe that's helpful to somebody.
Yeah, it's me, and acknowledging it's me gives me power, right?
Absolutely.
It's interesting. So when I talked to this woman this morning, I don't want to give up everything that's going to be talked about on Thursday, but this lady talks about how alcoholics have this frontal lobe thing, right? We need instant gratification, right? That's just the way we
Mm-hmm.
are. And so, like, having something positive going on in the future, like basing somebody, it's like, okay, so in 3 months from now, we'll have a plan to do something. And I guess right now we can't even do that. Like, we wanted to make some plans, but now you're like, I can't make a plan because I don't know what's happening.
Exactly. So you got to move on from that. I'm thinking I'm trying to say things like, so what am I going to do to be happy now? Because really, me being happy 3 months from now is meaningless to me. The only thing that means anything to me is me being happy right now, right? Or me having faith 3 months from now is meaningless to me. I need to have it now so I can get rid of the fear that I have now. So what am I going to do? If I'm fearful of being around people that don't wear masks, rather than me try to lash out and change and get them to wear masks, really what I need to do is just say, if I see people without masks and that makes me fearful or uncomfortable, I'll just stay away from those people. And if that means I can't go in someplace, well, I just can't go in there. And I can, if I really want to feel good about that, I can just say, it's God's world, it's not JF's world. And if those people are there and that's the way I feel, well, God must have some good reason for me not to go into that place, whatever it is. So he must have something better in store for me someplace else. And I'll just move on from that. And I always like that because I like that other thing that you said, like, oh my God, like, is life ever going to be the way it was? And I was thinking in my life, in my life, especially my life in sobriety, there's been several things that have happened, monumental things have happened. And I've thought, oh my God, is life ever going to be the way it was? And, and that's a big negative when I say something like that, right? Like, it was so good and now it's so bad. And is it ever going to be that good again? But what's happened to me every single time is I look back and I say, thank God that happened. And life ended up not being the way it was because it ended up being so much better, but in a direction that I couldn't imagine, because I'm a human and I can only imagine what I can imagine, and God, the higher power, has this infinite plan that I can be a part of if I can let go of the boundaries that I build around myself, which is my imagination. I'm just bounded by my imagination all the time. So I think things are bad. And they're only bad because that's a judgment that has nothing to do with what's really going on. It's just a judgment because it's not what I want, right? Something's happening and it's not happening the way I want it to happen. So that's bad, just bad. But in the real grand scheme of things, like I said, it's God's world. And when I have the luxury of 20/20 hindsight in my life, and I look back at those things that were so bad, and like I said, I'm like, thank you, God, that happened, because it enabled me to get to a place that, left to my own devices, I would have never gotten to, because I would have been happy and complacent where I was, because the fear always is change, right? Fear of change, fear of the different. So if I can have faith, I can put that fear aside and I'll see what happens. And it's not to say that I don't have fear all the time, but I have fear, and then I'd say, oh, I need faith. I'll fall back into it and I'll be okay with it. And I'll get through. I'll be comfortable in my discomfort till I get to the other side of whatever's going on. And I can guarantee anybody that's going through the same thing is, wherever you end up, it's going to be so much better than where you came from. It's just the way life works.
You know what you made me think about? This podcast is helping me. It's crazy. Isn't that crazy? Busy Living Sober is helping Busy Living Sober during the middle of the podcast.
Hey, you said it could help anybody.
It can even help Bizzy. So what it made me think about was open-mindedness. So I have to be open to all the possibilities. And that's what you mentioned. You know, I have to be open to all the possibilities. A long time ago when we were up north, and it might have been a year ago, it might have been a year and a half ago. I'm not good at dates. We all know that. We had a discussion about a glass of water. And I said, is the glass half empty or is the glass half full? And what did you say?
I said, what if it's just a glass with water in it and I don't have to be the judge of whether it's half empty or half full, and just say that the glass has water in it and I can move on.
And that is open-mindedness. So me being open to all the possibility of God's world. Like I have no idea why all this craziness is going on in the world right this very second. I have no idea. But God probably does. God probably does. If we believe in God. If you're out there and you believe in something, a higher being, then maybe that person knows what's going on and why it's happening. And it's okay that I don't know why it's happening, because there's things that happen in my life. There's people that come in my life. There's people that come in my life for a season and they leave for a reason, right? And what is the reason? I sometimes have no idea. I have no idea why they came in. I have no idea why they left. I have no idea of any of it. And it's all okay. It's all okay.
It is.
Because it's about the journey, right? So when I was drinking, there was no open-mindedness. I couldn't be open-minded because all I thought about was my next drink. I was like, when am I going to get it? How am I going to get it? Is there enough? Is there enough? Is there enough? And today, now that I'm sober, and I have been for a couple of 24 hours, you know, I have the ability to be okay knowing that I don't know anything. I just have to be open to the fact that I don't know anything. I am maybe never going to know anything. I'm just going to do the best I can do one day at a time and get happy in my feet wherever I am. And I guess the other way that it gets there is by being open-minded and knowing that it's okay that I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I want to know, but I don't.
I think it's that. I think it's also, I mean, another simple thing is just having the faith to understand that just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's bad. And that's all faith.
If I don't like it, it doesn't mean that
just because I don't like it that doesn't mean it's bad.
Right. Right.
Just means I don't like it. For instance, don't really like Brussels sprouts. Doesn't mean they're bad. Simple as that.
Right. You don't like Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, doesn't mean they're bad. Doesn't mean they're bad.
Well, you'll still eat them.
I will.
Yeah.
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 Sure. So why can't I apply that to everything else in my life?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
alarm clock goes off. Just because I don't like getting up doesn't mean it's bad.
And, you know, it's like, you know, the world, I think that sometimes when you watch things on social media or even on the news, it tries to sway you one way or the other, right? I think I'm just going to use a storm as an example. So there's an impending storm that's going to maybe come, right? And so the media goes on and on and on and on about this impending storm. The storm's coming. It's going to be horrible. You better be ready. You better batten down the hatches. Do you have enough? I know up north it would be a snowstorm will be coming. Down here, there's a hurricane coming. You need to be ready. Do you have the water? Do you have the plywood? And this is weeks before, right? Are you ready? I know here they were like, oh, there's discounts now because if you go buy hurricane stuff before June 1st, you can get a discount. Okay, who wins on that? I don't know. But it's like all this fear. If you come and you tend to want to be part of society and watch the news and all the rest of it. But I don't remember that being that way when I was a kid. And I don't want to go into that either, that digress to where I was just starting to go. But it's totally, I just have to be, because my brain sees good or bad, instead of just seeing the glass of water. I have to be extra, extra, extra on top of my game and realize that it is just a glass of water. And it's going to be okay just for the moment. And sometimes that's when people say, like, I'm not drinking for the, I have people that I've worked with before in my life that are like, I can't not drink one day at a time. I have to not drink 1 minute at a time. And I can't not smoke a cigarette 1 minute at a time. I can't eat sweets 1 minute at a time. I can't do the drug of my choice, but just 1 minute at a time. Right.
Well, that's fine, because the only time you need to do it is in the moment anyway.
Right.
If you don't want to drink, just don't drink now. You can drink in 5 minutes. Who cares?
But then in 5 minutes, you don't want to drink again either.
Yeah, because it's always, if you're always gonna do something in 5 minutes, it's always 5 minutes out.
Right. But then it seems like, and I don't know if this happens to you, but like when I say I'm going to do it maybe 5 minutes out, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to do it 5 minutes out. And then the 5 minutes comes and you've already gotten yourself into something anyway.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep. This too shall pass. That's what they say.
They do. So
will COVID.
This too shall pass.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be the last time that I'm going to come on the podcast and talk about how I feel crazy and all the rest of it. So I guess we'll just bear with it.
That's all we can do, honey.
I do feel better now. I do feel better. I'm excited for the day. All right, everybody, there we go. I hope so.
Glad we could help you out.
I hope that I'm glad you could help me out, and I hope that somebody got something from what we shared today. And again, this was episode 176, and I'm really grateful to have you, and I'm grateful for all the listeners that are out there. And I do want to do a call out to the listeners because I don't feel like I've done it recently. I just want to say, if you're out there and you're battling addiction, you're not alone. I've been there. Reach out. Don't be alone. Reach out, pick up the phone, send an email, call, do something, call somebody. You can always email me at Bizzy, Bizzy, at BizzyLivingSober.com. And you can find us on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. I think I mentioned that earlier. We are on Instagram and we are on Facebook. And I think we're also on Pinterest. So you can find us many ways, or just go to the website, BizzyLivingSober.com. And just realize you're not alone and we are here for you. And everything will be okay. Everything is okay. It is okay just in this moment. And we're sending big hugs to everybody that's out there feeling pain today. We want to send big hugs and send wishes of wellness and love. We want to send our love and know that we're giving you virtual hugs and elbow pumps. And, reach out. Don't be alone. And until Thursday, next time that'll be episode 177. Until next time, keep getting busy, living sober. Bye.
Bye.